Yes, you're listening here live on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show. Your host, Brent, kicking it here on this Sunday night vibes. Yes, you're listening here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show. Your host, Brent. And yes, we go coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. Kicking it live on this Sunday night vibes here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show. We're going to get started in just 1 second. The mood is setting its tone right now on the most coolest show of them all. And if you're not already following us, be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. You can also follow us on our Instagram at Brent the Champ. You can follow me on my Twitter at Koolykool24 as well. You can also follow me on my YouTube and TikTok channel, both labeled the Koolykool Show. Yep, you just heard Warm Nights by Lakey Inspired. That's a nice little mellow one song, kind of break in for the Sunday night vibes here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show. So, if you haven't already told, you are special. Especially on the Sunday night vibes where we talk about pretty much anything and everything, something that comes up, we try to talk about it or give explanation to something. But there's little things that do happen to tend to go on that in the world that we do tend to follow. As you do know, it's Sunday. It's the beginning of a new week. But it is the end of a weekend for the regular work week. The work week starts tomorrow on Monday. I believe this podcast I'm doing here on Sunday Night Vibes, it's not going to be the entirely full length of my typical irregular 45 minutes. I have some other things that I have to tend to, coming up pretty soon. So this one's probably going to be about 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes if I can stretch it that long that I have to, take care of. But trust me, I do love my listeners out there that are listening to me and come to listen to some crazy things. One of the things is my Sunday Night Vibes podcast is probably one of my favorite ones to do. I only do 3 podcasts a week, and that's on Wednesday and Friday, and that's on Sunday. Sundays, I love to do it because I feel as though I have certain things. It's kind of a chill type of podcast feeling. just the setting seems a little bit more better. It's the end of the weekend, and it comes into going to another part of the week. Wednesdays I like it, but it's more trying to figure out what's going on in the world. That's what I usually kind of determine for myself. On Friday, it's kind of getting ready, getting hyped, getting ready for the weekend, seeing what you're doing, see what anybody's doing. That's how I typically like to think about as far as my podcast broken down into. I love doing Sunday. Only, like I said, I have things that I have to tend to, that I have to get to. As I said, it's probably not going to be the whole full segment of it, so I'm going to try to touch on certain things that I came across with in the news. I believe the last topic we talked about was about UFOs and whether they're real and stuff like that. This is more about what's going on in the news. If you've been paying close special attention, China has been making talks about wanting to reunify Taiwan with them. And I mean, they've been saying that we're going to reunify Taiwan. Taiwan has responded saying, no, we're not going to be reunifying. We don't want to deal with you. You can do that, but we're not going to be over there with you in whatever that you're doing. And China's trying to tell Taiwan that, hey, reunification, without saying the old blunt, I'm going to say blunt ghetto term is, look, motherfucker, you coming with us, and that's it. Stop talking back. Stop thinking that you going to buck up to somebody, because it ain't going to happen. We taking, and in so many words, that's what China's trying to say with this reunification. Now, in years ago, Taiwan apparently used to be part of China before a lot of things from the World War I and World War II had kind of siphoned and split certain things up. And with the U.S. and our expansion and territories, well, I don't even call it territories, more like expansion, because with those other countries, we let them run. We just kind of showed them a certain way, well, you can live and things that might be better for you. But China wants Taiwan back so bad, because for them, it would be a platform to actually help their navy. Since China's built up their navy, they want to use Taiwan as a platform to shoot off, because if they can reunify Taiwan, then I don't think there would be any one. They're trying to rid American presence in Taiwan, and that would open the floodgates for China to be able to have a launching point for where their navy and everything else could be kind of positioned at over in the South Pacific region, I believe. I could be wrong, but this is what I'm kind of gathering from the certain articles that I read. But China wants Taiwan bad, because they say, it's their people. They want to reunify, bring them all together, because they used to be our land and it's our people, and we want to bring them back together. They're sounding like North Korea saying we want to reunification with South Korea. And South Korea is like, look, I don't like what you're doing over there. Your communism, I don't want to deal with that. You guys can have that. It works for you guys, but over here, we're having too much fun. We don't want to reunify, or more or less, we don't want to be enslaved by your regime and your way of life, thinking that it's going to carry over and says, oh yeah, sure, reunify with you guys. That you guys tell us what to do, when we do, and how to do it, and not have say so in anything. Yeah, not in any good, countries, benefit to go ahead and conform to something where people's minds have already been awoken. It's like the movie The Matrix when Neo was in that goo of jello, butt naked and thing, and when he woke up, at that point in time, he woke up in reality, which the reality looked like a nightmare, by the way, in that movie. So, but he woke up in reality, and it's kind of hard to go back to. He wouldn't mind go back to the Matrix part, but it's kind of hard to go back. There's no funnel to kind of easy transition to allow you to go back to that way, because you've already been exposed to how things are on the outside and what they is in the real world. So you're kind of like living this falsehood of people telling me what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and all this other stuff, and the state controlling my movements, controlling what I can say and do, eat, and all this other stuff. What's the big push to this whole reunification? Reunification is just kind of a political term that they're trying to say, we want them to come over to us. That's all it is. It's just a political term that they could try to utilize a means to saying, we want to invade you, and we want to kick your ass, and we want to stomp a mud hole in you, but we're going to be looking a little bad for other countries that are looking at us, and other countries are probably going to step in and probably kick us. So if there's any way we can influence you, in any way we can influence your people, that to get them to kind of conform to our way of thinking, it'd be so spectacular. It'd be so great. It'd be one of the best things ever happened. This is the best thing since sliced bread. Oh yes, better than sliced bread. And I was reading something that North Korea is in such economical perils right now that they've continued talks with South Korea, and this is where I believe in the near future, I think Kim Jong-un is going to probably he's going to have to eventually change in certain things in this country. He's going to have to open up, because the fact is that his country is suffering, and as people are starting to realize that they need something done quickly, immediately, and swiftly to be done. And they've already had talks with the former president, Donald Trump, and talks with Japan, and talks with South Korea, talks with China. I think it's probably things are going to be shifted and changed, and for the survival of North Korea and their country and their people, they're going to eventually have to open up, and they're going to have to be on board with everyone, even though they don't want to. But in order for their country to actually, get with the times and get with things and be normalized, then they're going to have to put the differences aside and what they think is right and what they think is wrong. It's kind of understanding when somebody comes in your house telling you, this and that, and then you're like, freaking, I live here, bruh. You don't live here and tell me what to do. It's a kind of thing, but in the same sense, it's like, if you come into somebody's house, you tell them, hey, stop beating the person with a bat. What are you doing? You can't have the person say, what you talking about? It's my house. Dude, you're hitting the person with a bat. What are you doing? That's not acceptable. So there's a lot of things that's coming into play with this whole situation, especially North Korea. I see them eventually in the coming years, within like the next maybe 6-7 years, North Korea is going to open up big time. And as they do open big time, it's going to actually afford a lot of things to start to happen. And I think pretty much the whole thing about when former President Donald Trump had talks with North Korea, but he didn't want to talk really too much to China, and China wanted to kind of chime in. I think it was more of a response from the U.S., wanted to see a response from China on how they would react to having to sit down, having a discussion, having a talk with North Korea's dictator, Kim Jong-un. And I don't know how the aspect of it kind of turned over as far as them kind of being like, oh yeah, we like them a lot. They're doing well, I don't know the aspect on it, but what I can tell you is that it was all in a response just to see what China would do and how they would respond back to us meeting a dictator and from North Korea. Since China secretly funds and feels some of North Korea's aid and their to get money and things. It's just a little bit different as far as other things. So, like I said, here on Sunday Night Vibe, it's a chill atmosphere on the Sunday Night Vibes because we want to ensure that people are having the time of their lives. So, in other news, I was actually reading another article, and one article said, Taliban says U.S. has agreed to provide humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan. Weren't we doing that in the first place before the Taliban took over the entire country? But the U.S. said, while refusing to give political recognition to the country's new Taliban rulers. So basically that just means the U.S. is willing to help out the Taliban, giving them food, water, healthcare treatments, things like that for a time period. To get the kids into school, make sure they're going to school and doing the right things. But at the same time, they don't want to recognize the country of Afghanistan as Taliban rule. They're doing it only simply for the people who are in there, are afraid for their lives, and they need certain aid and support and help, and we're trying to give that back to them as what we were doing before. So it's a little bit different, but it's just the way it is. I guess it's just the way it is. The things will never change. It's just the way it is. You can never be the same. Just the way it is. Oh yeah. I just wondered if anybody likes my singing. If you do like my singing, let me know. I'll sing you more. So, but like I said, this podcast is going to be a lot shorter than my previous Sunday night pod. It's because I got some important business I have to take care of coming up, and it's just it's going to be a lot. So I'm going to go take a quick break. I'm going to go get something to drink, as I always say. I want you guys to stick with me, listen to some sweet tunes that I'm going to put on real quick, and we'll be right back with some more of this Sunday night vibes. Yeah, am I saying right? Yeah, I think I am. All right, stick with us. We'll be right back. All right. Yes, you're listening here onto the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show with your host, Brent. Yep, we're kicking it here on this Sunday night vibes, kicking it coast to coast, north to south, and even maybe in Antarctica. Yep. So, make sure if you don't know already, be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. You can also follow us. We're being brought to you by Spreaker.com, but you can also hear us live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcast, and I think there might be a couple other ones out there. I just can't remember offhand, but trust me, and once I do them, I'll surely let you guys know. So, back here on, we're talking a little bit about certain news. We're talking about China, talking a little about North Korea. There's a lot of things going on. Now, here's one of the big topics of discussion that I want to break out for the next about maybe 9 minutes, maybe 5 more minutes, I guess. We're going to talk a little bit about space talk. Yes, we're going to talk about a little bit about some space talk. Yes. Some space news. Don't have any. Just wondering about it. Haven't heard much about the space talk, space news. They just had a couple of their astronauts in space a couple of days ago. That flew on the SpaceX rocket. They're doing great things. I'm just wondering how much that seat up there is, because apparently it's a couple 100,000 just for, supposedly a two-way, a round trip, so to speak. But like I said, I don't know. I just wondering. I haven't heard of my space talk over this. Like I brought it up beforehand. Over the summer, the beginning of the year, people were talking tons and tons about aliens, tons and tons about space, about rockets landing in space. Then there was the asteroid talk towards the middle of the summer, which I told in previous podcast. For some odd reason, these scientists, astronauts, they're so pent up about asteroids and comets that they're like, oh, it's going to crash and we need to divert it. And they said in 2160 to 2170, an asteroid is supposed to hit Earth, and they need to send up rockets, 50, 60, maybe to 70 of them into the air to divert it off its course. And just about a month ago, there was actually a program. I think Shepard Smith was talking about to one of the astronauts. It's like, oh yeah, it's supposed to predict 161 years from now. And we're just trying to figure out what we can do. And he said, this is stuff I was already talking about. I was like, wow. This is by far just, space has gotten to the point where when they're talking about space and space programs, it's kind of like, is this stuff really happening? Oh, I'm sorry. Then they were talking about Mars and going to Mars and having a mission to Mars. And then weren't they talking not too long ago about having to go to the moon again? Then they totally wrote that off, and then now they're shifting all their focus on to going to, to Mars. I don't even know if they want to go to Mars. Maybe it might, at this point, might be saying they might focus all attention going to Neptune, and because Neptune's one of their planets, well, one of Neptune's moons, possibly might have, water underneath its surface. How the hell are we going to know that? And they said you could see it travel, you could see it move and under the water. I'm like, really? And that's just as much as they could say. They could see flowing water under the surface of, was it Europa? I think that's the moon on Neptune, is Europa. They can see that. And the same as they can see The observable universe stretches from side to side. The observable universe. So it is highly contested on what is the truth and what is feigned fantasy, or what is suspected the truth, but is altered in some shape, way, or fashion. Which one it is, I don't know. But I'm sure we'll probably get the truth never. That's just my guess. That's just my take on it. So, I don't know. That's how I'm seeing it. So, and that song, yep, that just marks it. Like I said, I didn't really want to cut it too soon, but I got some really important things I got to take care of. But definitely, doing Sunday Night Vibes is definitely one of my favorite podcasts to do. It's just a different type of feel to it, I guess. But definitely, if you liked my show, keep listening, because I bet I got you under my spell. I hope I do have you under my spell. So, be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. Be sure to look out for my other updates on my other social media platforms. You also follow me at my YouTube channel, my TikTok channel at Koolykool, the Koolykool Show. You also follow me on Instagram, Brent the Champ, baby. Well, it's Brent the Champ, so. Also be sure to listen to us on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and also Spreaker.com. That's where we're platform hosting, is Spreaker.com. So, thank you for listening. So, if you have a question or comment, be sure to reach out to me on my social media platform. So, thank you to all my listeners. Listen again will be coming Wednesday. I don't know exactly what time. I usually do my time at 11, but I might have something come up though. But I'm definitely, if not, it might end up being a pre-recorded. I don't like doing pre-recorded. But, like I said, you're here live on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show on Sunday Night Vibes. So, take care. Thank you. Bye.
God, I hope so. Me too.